Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In the three-character classic, there is a saying, jade, if not polished, cannot become a useful tool, meaning that jade, without being carefully crafted, cannot become a precious ornament. The process of polishing may be challenging and painful, but only through perseverance and patience can a piece of jade shine and become a treasured gem. Today, let us explore 12 profound stories of wisdom to uncover valuable lessons. Through them, we can learn to live peacefully, overcome challenges, and achieve success in life. Story 1: The Two Stones and the Buddha Statue. Long ago, in a small village nestled in a serene valley, there was an ancient temple called an Niyam Pagoda. Despite its sacredness, the temple lacked a Buddha statue for villagers to worship and pray to. To complete the temple, the village elder invited Master Lam, a renowned sculptor, to create the statue. Moved by the villagers' devotion, Master Lam climbed a high mountain in search of materials. After days of hard work, he found a massive stone. Due to its size, he split it into two parts, choosing one half to begin carving the Buddha statue. As the first chisel struck, the stone groaned in pain. "Master Lam, please be gentler. I've lain peacefully on this mountain for years, never enduring such pain. Are you sure I will become a beautiful Buddha statue?" Master Lam paused and gently replied, "Patience is a long process. Only by enduring pain and refinement can you become a perfect masterpiece. Trust me and be patient." The stone hesitated but agreed. "I will try to endure, but how long will this take?" Master Lam replied, "I have just begun. You must endure 30 more days. If it's not perfect, I will need to make further adjustments. But once complete, you will become a revered Buddha statue admired by all." Hearing this, the stone felt overwhelmed. After just a few hours of chiseling, it cried out, "Stop! I can't endure this pain anymore. Please, stop." Master Lam sighed, abandoning the work. Instead, he shaped the stone into a square slab and placed it at the temple entrance as a stepping stone. Then he turned to the other half of the stone and began anew. Master Lam asked the second stone, "Do you feel pain?" The second stone replied, "I feel pain just as the first stone did, but I won't give up. I want to become the most beautiful statue, so please do your best." Hearing this, Master Lam smiled with satisfaction and continued his work. After 30 days of persistence, a stunning Buddha statue was completed. It was placed prominently in the temple, becoming a symbol of reverence. Villagers came from far and wide to worship and offer incense. One day, the stepping stone complained to the Buddha statue, "Why are you placed high and revered by everyone, while I endure being stepped on daily?" The Buddha statue smiled and replied, "The effort to shape you into a stepping stone was simple, but to create me, I endured countless chisels, pain, and refinement. In life, if you cannot bear hardship and give up too soon, you will never achieve the best results. Only perseverance and resilience lead to success. As the saying goes, with effort, iron can be forged into a needle. Patience and determination are the keys to success. Life's difficulties and hardships are challenges that refine us, helping us become the best versions of ourselves and achieve greatness." Story 2: The Gem in the Stone. Long ago, in a village renowned for its gemstone craft, there lived a boy named Lam. One day, his father handed him a rough stone and said, "Take this stone to the village gem artisan and learn how to refine it." Lam carried the stone to Hai, a skilled and experienced gem cutter. Examining the stone, Hai smiled and said, "If you want this stone to become a treasure, you must endure a challenging journey. Follow me and be patient." From that day, Lam began the process of polishing the stone. On the first day, his hands grew numb from gripping the tools, and sweat dripped endlessly, yet the stone was barely scratched. Frustrated, Lam complained, "Why does it take so long to see any progress?" Hai replied, "To transform a rough stone into a precious gem, you must be persistent and patient. Every stroke and every cut is important, they create the perfect beauty." Day by day, Lam continued his work. His hands grew calloused, and each stroke became more precise, each cut more refined. After a month, the rough stone began to reveal a shimmering gem, its surface clear and sparkling. When the work was done, Hai admired the gem and praised him. "See? Only through countless strokes and cuts can a rough stone become a treasure." Holding the gem in his hands, Lam realized, a person's life is like a gem hidden in stone. Without enduring hardship, training, and patience, we will remain nothing more than a rough, unremarkable stone. A person can only shine by embracing difficulties, overcoming challenges, and refining themselves. Though the process may be arduous, it is through persistence and patience that we transform into the best version of ourselves. Story 3: Stepping Back to Leap Forward. One day, deep in the forest, an old wolf was starving, having failed to find prey. Suddenly, it spotted a plump sheep strolling by. Delighted, the wolf blocked the sheep's path and said, "You're the perfect feast to fill my belly. Today, you can't escape your fate." The sheep calmly replied, "If you wish to eat me, I have no choice. But let me warn you, I am no ordinary weak sheep. I can even defeat a mighty bull. If you don't believe me, let me prove it." The wolf, half believing and half doubting, decided to find a strong bull and bring both the sheep and the bull into a large cave for a battle of strength. The wolf stood guard outside, waiting for the results. Inside the cave, the wolf heard fierce sounds, the bull's loud roars, heavy stomping, and echoes of a struggle. The noise continued for a while before fading into silence. The wolf chuckled to itself. "That boastful sheep must be dead by now. I'll go in and enjoy my feast." But just as the wolf was about to enter, the sheep emerged, unscathed and composed. Startled, the wolf rushed into the cave and was shocked to find the bull lying exhausted, its head bleeding and horns broken. The wolf asked in disbelief, "How did you lose to a sheep like that?" The bull, panting and weary, replied, "I didn't lose because the sheep was stronger than me. Every time I charged at it with all my strength, the sheep would nimbly dodge. The more it evaded, the more frustrated I became, losing control of my mind. In the end, I exhausted and injured myself." The wolf muttered, "This sheep used retreat as a strategy to advance, truly clever." The wolf dashed out of the cave to catch the sheep, but by then, it had disappeared without a trace. Left standing in regret, the wolf lamented its missed opportunity. In life, stepping back temporarily doesn't mean losing. Sometimes, it is a wise strategy for eventual victory. Stepping back allows us to stay calm, assess the situation, and find opportunities to move forward. Patience and cleverness can help us overcome even the strongest opponents and achieve lasting success. As the saying goes, take one step back, and the skies open wide. Take 3 steps back, and peace and happiness are yours. Story 4: The Rice Shop and Human Values. In a bustling city, there was a small rice shop called Te Shuyan, passed down through 2 generations. The second-generation owner, Chow On Kai, once worked abroad in e-commerce with an enviable salary. However, he decided to leave that job to take over his mother's old rice shop. Initially, On Kai couldn't understand why his mother had patiently maintained this business for so many years. But as he observed and reflected, he began to realize that rice was not just a source of income, it was a bond that connected family members. Every day, his mother cooked rice and prepared warm family meals. Through those meals, love and family ties were preserved, a deeply meaningful value. While living abroad, Ankai often ate out due to his busy schedule. Over time, he felt the emptiness of dining alone. This made him appreciate his mother's dedication to keeping their home warm and filled with happiness. For his family and many others, rice was the foundation nurturing that warmth. When Ankai took over the shop, he faced a major challenge. Rice consumption was steadily declining. Modern lifestyles, work pressures, and the popularity of Western cuisine had led younger generations to cook less at home. Inspired by Japan, where similar challenges had been addressed, Ankai decided to innovate his business. He brought the products to e-commerce platforms but didn't just sell rice. He let each type of rice tell a unique story to reach the right customers. Bon Lai rice for hardworking men, providing long-lasting fullness. Truong Tien rice for women, aiding weight management with slower digestion. Vu Fong rice for children, with an appealing aroma to entice picky eaters. Short grain rice for the elderly, staying soft and tender even when cold. Ankai didn't stop at selling rice. He shared traditional methods for cooking perfect rice, selecting fresh grains, rinsing thoroughly, soaking for the right amount of time, and cooking with the ideal water-to-rice ratio. His goal was to revive the habit of home cooking, encouraging people to care more about their loved ones' health and happiness. For Chow Ankai, business was not just about profit. Tay Shuyan Rice Shop became a testament to a career rooted in humanity, preserving tradition and fostering family happiness. As his mother once said, cooking a good meal is not just about filling the stomach but warming the hearts of those you love. Business is not merely about earning money or achieving fame. A truly meaningful career brings benefits and happiness to those around us. When love, compassion, and community values are at the heart of what we do, we find deeper fulfillment in both work and life. Story 5: When the Heart Loses Its Stillness. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace, there was a famous melon stall owned by Mr. Wang. He possessed a rare talent. By simply holding a melon, he could estimate its weight with an accuracy of no more than one tael. One day, Master Fong, the abbot of a nearby temple, brought along a young monk to buy melons. Observing the melons they selected, Mr. Wang smiled and said, 2 jin in total. The young monk, skeptical, fetched a scale to verify, and indeed, the weight was spot on. The gathered crowd applauded his remarkable skill. Then, Master Fong picked up a honeydew melon and said, "If you guess the weight of this melon correctly, I'll gift you a silver bar weighing exactly 2 taels." Mr. Wang eagerly accepted the challenge and carefully held the melon. However, his mind became preoccupied with the gleaming image of the silver bar. His hands trembled slightly, and doubt clouded his thoughts. He hesitated, placed the melon down, contemplated for a long moment, and finally declared, "This melon weighs 1 jin and 3 taels." The young monk promptly placed the melon on the scale. The result, 1 jin and 5 taels. Mr. Wang blushed in embarrassment and sighed deeply. He realized that the temptation of the silver bar had disturbed his calm, causing him to lose his usual precision. Master Fong smiled gently and said, "The human heart is like still water. A mere breeze can ripple its surface, let alone the great temptation of wealth. When people overly value material gain, they easily lose their composure and inner peace." Zhuang Zhou once said, "A master gambler may perform flawlessly when wagering with clay vessels, but when betting with gold ingots, their skills falter drastically." This means that when one is overly fixated on fame and fortune, they lose the natural ease and tranquility of their heart. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Zhuge Liang also taught his son, "Without detachment, one cannot discern true ambition. Without a tranquil mind, one cannot achieve lofty ideals." Life is full of temptations, fame, wealth, luxury cars, and glamorous beauty. Only those who maintain a serene, detached, and peaceful heart can resist such lures. A pure heart is the vessel of wisdom and talent, enabling people to realize their potential and fulfill their true purpose. When people overly prioritize fame and wealth, they risk losing their inner strength and peace of mind. Life simply, maintain stillness in your heart and let go of excessive ambition to preserve your true values. Only by doing so can you truly see your authentic self and achieve your greatest aspirations in life. Story 6: The Leaf and the Barrel of Water. A young man, overwhelmed by sadness, approached the Zen master and asked, "Master, sometimes I feel as though life and the people around me are trying to drown me. What should I do in such moments?" The Zen master didn't answer immediately. Instead, he quietly brought out 2 barrels, one empty and one filled with water. He placed a delicate leaf into the empty barrel and then slowly poured water from the other barrel into it. The leaf swirled and tumbled in the current, but as the barrel filled to the brim, the leaf floated calmly and gracefully on the water's surface. Pointing to the leaf, the Zen master gently said, "You see, if you can let your heart be as light as this leaf, no matter how turbulent the circumstances, nothing can drown you. As the old saying goes, challenges are a stepping stone for the talented, a treasure for the resourceful, and an abyss for the weak. Life is a field of relentless trials and hardships, where every success comes at a price. No one walks a path paved with roses forever. The key lies in how you respond when buried by difficulties. If you refuse to fall, you will grow stronger and succeed. Those who are weak and hesitant often shy away from challenges. They lead an ordinary life because they fail to realize trials do not kill, but merely test one's courage. A philosopher once said, "As long as you are breathing, never stop chasing your dreams." This is the Zen master's message as well. Become like the leaf, light and unburdened, amidst the storms of life. No matter how fierce the waves, keep your heart serene and at peace. Only then can you face and overcome life's difficulties with ease and grace. Learn to keep your heart as light as a leaf in the storms of life. Challenges are opportunities to build courage, and resilience will carry you through them all. Story 7: The Seventh Food Bag and a Lesson in Judgment. I once worked as a gatekeeper at a large mansion. My boss was a wealthy man who drove a luxurious car. Every day, I would greet him as he passed by, but he never acknowledged me. He always seemed cold and indifferent, as though he didn't care about anyone. One day, while rummaging through a trash bin for leftover food, I stumbled upon a clean paper bag filled with fresh groceries, as if someone had just bought them from the supermarket. At first, I didn't think much about where it came from and happily brought it home for my wife and children. From that day on, the food bag appeared in the same spot every day. I wondered why someone would be careless enough to leave food behind so often, but I didn't dwell on it, treating it as a lucky routine. This continued until the day my boss passed away. The mansion became crowded with visitors paying their respects. From that day forward, the food bag stopped appearing. My family faced difficulties, and I eventually went to the lady of the house to request a raise. She was surprised and asked, "Why didn't you complain about your salary for the past 2 years, and now suddenly it's not enough?" Although I tried to explain, she refused. Finally, I shared the truth about the food bags I had received daily but no longer saw since my boss's passing. Hearing this, she trembled and asked, "When did this stop?" "Right after the master passed away," I replied. At that moment, I realized it was my boss who had been leaving those food bags for me. The man I had judged as cold and indifferent had silently supported my family for 2 years. The lady of the house wiped her tears and said, choking on her words, "Every day, my husband prepared 7 food bags to give to 7 different people. I've found 6 of them, and you are the 7th I've been looking for." From that day on, the master's son began delivering food bags to my house daily. Like his father, he never spoke or responded to my thanks. One day, I called out loudly, "Thank you." This time, he replied, "Don't mention it. Like my father, I am deaf and cannot hear your words." I was stunned. All this time, I had judged my boss as arrogant and cold without knowing the truth. He had silently done kind deeds for me and many others. In life, what we see isn't always the truth. Don't be quick to judge others based on their appearance or actions. Everyone has their own story and reasons. Instead of criticizing or jumping to conclusions, strive to understand and show compassion. Often, the most beautiful and kind acts come from those we least expect. Story 8. The Strange Business Secret, Sharing an Umbrella. Hu Xuan, 1823 to 1885, was a renowned merchant in Hangzhou during the late 19th century. Born into poverty, he worked in a banking house before rising, through effort and vision, to become a wealthy and respected businessman. His success was not only attributed to his business acumen but also to his ethics and compassion in dealing with others. One day, a merchant approached Hu Xuan with a worried expression. He urgently needed a large sum of money for an investment and offered to mortgage all his assets. Hu's employees saw this as a prime opportunity to lend money at high interest rates, but Hu remained calm. After verifying the merchant's story, Hu found it to be true. The next morning, Hu invited the merchant over and agreed to lend him the necessary funds. However, unlike common business practices of the time, Hu appraised the assets at fair market value rather than forcing a lower valuation. Surprised, the merchant asked, "Why would you pass up the chance to make a significant profit?" Smiling, Hu patted the merchant's shoulder and replied, "I'm merely helping you safeguard your assets temporarily. When you recover from this challenge, you can buy them back at a slightly higher price. Helping you now is not just about business, it's about human decency." The merchant was deeply moved, thanked Hu profusely, and left. Later, Hu's family questioned him. "Why didn't you take advantage of this opportunity to earn a hefty profit?" Hu calmly sipped his tea and shared a story from his youth. "When I was a poor worker, there was a day when I encountered a stranger caught in a heavy rainstorm. I had an umbrella and offered to share it with them. From that day on, whenever it rained and I didn't have an umbrella, those I had helped were always willing to share theirs with me." In life, if we help others during their hardships, when we face difficulties, someone will extend a helping hand. This isn't just a principle of humanity, it's also the foundation of success in business. Eventually, the merchant redeemed his assets and was so grateful that he initiated several large collaborations with Hu. The two became close friends and business partners. Whether in business or life, helping others should not be driven solely by immediate gains. Acts of compassion and sincerity foster trust and enduring relationships. Success comes not only from talent but also from how we treat those around us. Everyone faces storms in life. If you can share your umbrella, there will undoubtedly be a day when someone does the same for you. Story 9. Overcoming Life's 3 Traps, Avoiding a Mediocre Life. There are 3 core factors that determine whether a person leads a noble or ordinary life. By overcoming these challenges, life becomes more meaningful and fulfilling. The ancient Chinese philosophical text Zhang Guangxian highlights three major traps in life: words, anger, and desires. 1. Words, the trap of gossip. The ancients said, gossip arises from speaking too much. Indeed, words are a double-edged sword. A kind word can create goodwill and strengthen relationships, but careless words can bring disaster. In history, Qin Shang, who rebelled against the Qing dynasty and established the short-lived Qin state, was once a poor laborer. During his difficult days, he promised his friends that if he ever gained wealth and power, he would not forget them. However, when he became king, one of his old friends spoke recklessly, boasting about their past friendship and acting arrogantly. This damaged Qin Shang's reputation. In anger, Qin Shang ordered the execution of his friend. The repercussions didn't end there. Other friends, fearing for their lives, distanced themselves from him. He was left isolated and gradually lost the support of his closest allies. Words, though light as the wind, can have serious consequences if spoken thoughtlessly. As the ancients taught, spilled water cannot be collected, spoken words cannot be taken back. The wise speak little, the impulsive speak too much. 2. Anger, the trap of emotions. Anger is a powerful emotion that can easily lead people to lose control. As the ancients taught, hold your patience, and the waves will calm. Take a step back, and the skies open wide. The story of Sima Yi and Zhuge Liang's confrontation is a testament to the value of emotional restraint. During Zhuge Liang's final northern campaign, he repeatedly provoked Sima Yi, even sending women's clothing to mock his perceived cowardice. Yet, Sima Yi remained calm and refused to let his emotions dictate his actions, avoiding the trap set by Zhuge Liang. In the end, Zhuge Liang fell ill and passed away, allowing Sima Yi's army to claim victory without a fight. Through patience and self-control, Sima Yi not only escaped the trap but also eventually rose to supreme power, laying the foundation for the Jin dynasty. On the other hand, those who cannot control their emotions often face unfavorable outcomes. Xuanzi wisely said, "When angry, know your limits. When joyful, do not overindulge." Anger is instinctive, but controlling it is a mark of wisdom and strength. A moment of rage can lead to irreversible consequences, damaging relationships and leaving lifelong regrets. 3. Desire, the trap of greed. Desire, an insatiable greed, is humanity's greatest enemy. As the ancients taught, contentment leads to perpetual sufficiency. Knowing when to stop prevents danger. In Dream of the Red Chamber, there's a saying, "A retreat lies behind, yet one refuses to let go. The way back lies ahead, yet there is no longer a path." This warns of the blindness caused by unchecked greed. When desire takes control, people often pursue their goals recklessly, even when they know a perilous abyss lies ahead. Greed not only strips people of their ethics, but also leads to tragic consequences. Lao Tzu emphasized in the Tao Te Ching, excessive greed results in loss. Failure to restrain desire invites disaster. To live wisely, one must understand contentment. A truly content person is not one who possesses everything, but one who appreciates the value of what they already have. These are challenges that everyone must face. However, by mastering self-control and overcoming these traps, one can avoid mediocrity and achieve peace and success. Remember the wisdom of the ancients. Those who find contentment will never feel shame. Those who know when to stop will live without regret. Life may not always be smooth sailing, but with patience and a calm mind, you'll find that there is always a clear blue sky waiting ahead. Story 10, Liturgian and Compendium of Materia Medica, a lifetime sacrificed for medical truth. During the Ming Dynasty, a renowned physician named Li Shizhen emerged as one of the greatest figures in Chinese medical history. He authored the monumental compendium of Materia Medica, Benqiao Gongmu, a comprehensive work on medicinal herbs and pharmacology. However, his journey to complete this masterpiece was fraught with challenges, hardships, and criticism from the society of his time. The quest for truth in medicine. Born into a family of physicians, Li Shizhen was steeped in traditional medical knowledge. Yet, instead of merely relying on ancient texts, he was determined to uncover truths and correct the inaccuracies in existing medical literature. At the time, many medical records were based on vague experiences and oral traditions, lacking scientific verification. Li discovered that some remedies in old texts were not only ineffective but even dangerous to patients. Resolute in his mission, he dedicated his life to studying, testing, and documenting all forms of medicinal herbs, animals, and minerals. Guided by a philosophy of empirical evidence, believing only what he saw and tested, Li embarked on an extensive journey across China to collect medicinal materials. Opposition from society. Li Shizhen's pursuit of medical truth was far from easy. In the feudal society of his time, outdated and rigid beliefs prevailed. Traditional physicians and conservative scholars accused him of breaking established rules, disrespecting classical texts, and promoting heresy. Some even condemned his willingness to test new medicines as reckless and disregarding human life. His expeditions to remote mountains and rivers to gather herbs also drew scorn. Many mocked him, saying, "How can a respectable physician wander like a vagabond through forests and streams? Why not simply study books at home instead of toiling in hardship?" Yet, Li remained undeterred. He personally tasted countless herbs, meticulously observing their properties and effects, and documenting every detail. On one occasion, he nearly lost his life after ingesting a toxic plant. However, these invaluable experiences enabled him to identify safe and effective remedies. The ultimate achievement. After more than 30 years of tireless work, enduring ridicule and adversity, Li Shizhen completed Compendium of Materia Medica. The work comprised 52 volumes, cataloging over 1,800 medicinal substances and 11,000 prescriptions. It corrected errors in earlier texts and provided detailed guidelines for the safe and effective use of herbal medicines. Upon its publication, Compendium of Materia Medica revolutionized Chinese medicine. Li Shizhen, once ridiculed and marginalized, became a towering figure in traditional medicine. Today, his work is not only a treasured asset of Chinese culture but is also recognized worldwide as a cornerstone of pharmacological knowledge. Legacy of a lifetime. Li Shizhen sacrificed his entire life to uncover medical truths, facing criticism and hardship along the way. New truths often meet resistance from outdated thinking, but with unwavering determination, passion, and an unshakable spirit, those truths ultimately prevail and endure. As Li Shizhen once said, "To save lives, I cannot rely on vague beliefs. Only truth is the guiding light." Story 11: The Jewish Parenting Secret, Fostering Independence and Resilience. With a global population of just 13 million, the Jewish community accounts for nearly 40% of Nobel Prize winners, earning a reputation as one of the most intelligent and successful groups in history. This remarkable achievement is largely attributed to their unique and scientific approach to parenting. Jewish parents emphasize teaching their children independence and resilience while fostering foresight. They avoid womb love, overprotecting children from all hardships, and instead practice fire-stoking love, which encourages and challenges children to stand strong on their own. 1. Building survival skills through the reward mechanism. A cornerstone of Jewish parenting is teaching children to work for rewards. Parents list household tasks and assign small monetary rewards for completion. Children earn money and learn to make their own decisions about spending it. For instance, Sarah Imes, a well-known Jewish mother, taught her children to sell goods when the family returned to Israel after living in China. Initially shy and awkward, the children gradually became confident, learning to interact naturally with customers and even adapt products to market demands. Through this method, Jewish children develop financial management skills, independence, and adaptability early in life. They understand that life skills cannot solely be learned in classrooms but must be cultivated within the family environment. 2. Strengthening willpower through delayed gratification. The Jewish community believes that fulfilling a child's needs too quickly leads to impatience and a lack of perseverance. They train children to endure hardships and practice self-restraint. For example, in an experiment involving candy, children were told they would receive a second candy if they waited until the end of the class to eat the first. Those who exercised patience and restraint performed better academically and were more likely to succeed later in life. Sarah often remarked, "Parents who overly pamper their children will eventually be the ones bandaging their wounds later." By delaying gratification, Jewish children learn discipline, patience, and emotional regulation, essential traits for future success. 3. Gradual education, letting go to foster independence. Jewish parents refrain from doing everything for their children, instead providing opportunities for them to solve problems on their own. They believe parents should do 80%, leaving the remaining 20% for children to face and learn from challenges independently. For instance, when Sarah's children attended a camping trip, she initially planned to pack everything for them, as was her habit. However, she stepped back, allowing her children to prepare on their own while she observed from a distance. The result, the children were excited and proud of managing everything themselves. Sarah wrote, "Children need to stumble and fail because those moments teach them the most." Key principles of Jewish parenting. The Jewish approach to parenting focuses on survival skills, resilience, and problem-solving abilities. They teach children to be independent, earn money, and manage finances from a young age. Cultivate patience and the ability to endure difficulties by delaying gratification. Face challenges and find solutions without relying on parents. Their philosophy. Raising children is like growing flowers. It requires patience and time. Don't rush them to succeed, instead, let them grow naturally and steadily. This is the Jewish secret to nurturing intelligent, confident, and resilient children, equipping them to soar high and far in life. Story 12. The Honesty and Noble Spirit of a Poor Child. This story, shared by an English teacher, is a profound memory that brings him to tears every time he recalls it. One morning, as he stepped out of his home in London, a frail boy of about 12 or 13 years old, dressed in tattered clothes, held out a box of matches and pleaded, "Sir, could you please buy a box of matches from me?" The teacher shook his head and replied, "Sorry, I don't have any loose change." The boy looked up at him with clear, determined eyes and said, "That's okay, sir. You can give me a gold coin, and I'll go exchange it and return the change to you." The boy's honest expression convinced the teacher, and he handed over a gold coin. But as 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 30 minutes passed without the boy returning, the teacher began to suspect he had been cheated. Silently, he resolved to learn from this experience and continued with his day. That afternoon, as he returned home, he was surprised to see a smaller boy waiting outside his door. Pale and trembling, the boy said, "Sir, my brother Joe asked me to bring back your change." The teacher was stunned and quickly asked, Where is Joe? Take me to him. The boy led him to a dark, dilapidated basement. In a cold, damp corner lay Joe, motionless on a pile of rags. His forehead was bloodied, and his face pale. Seeing the teacher, Joe mustered his strength to weakly say, "Sir, I've returned your change through my brother. You see, I'm not a liar." Tears streamed down the teacher's face. He grasped Joe's frail, cold hand and choked out, "Rest easy, child. No matter what, I will take care of your brother." But Joe's eyes had already closed, and his small hand in the teacher's began to grow colder. The poor boy, who had lived in hunger and hardship, had passed away, yet he held onto his honesty and dignity until his last breath. Joe's story reminds us that kindness and honesty are not dictated by circumstances or material wealth. Despite living in poverty and hardship, Joe upheld honesty as the most natural and precious value of his life. Kindness is the minimum standard for being human. One act of kindness can ripple outward, creating a cycle of goodness that makes life more beautiful. As Sima Guang once said, "Money is nothing compared to honor. Honesty is irreplaceable." Life may be difficult, but if we all hold on to our faith in humanity's goodness and kindness, the world will be a better place. As the saying goes, in life, one must always carry a kind heart. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We wish you a life filled with peace and happiness. Now, we bid you farewell and look forward to seeing you in our next videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss other meaningful stories. Goodbye and see you again.